everyone. Happy Tuesday. Hope everybody's having a fantastic night. Welcome to Arcades Anonymous, Arcade Nerds United. Hope everybody's had a fantastic week. We got a lot of great people in the chat. And as always, my co-hosts, Brian Chaotic, G.I. Joel, and Multicade Matt, and our special guest, Glenn. How are you, sir?
Me?
Yeah, there you are.
Hi, everyone.
How are you today,
me,
sir?
Glen?
I am doing good. I'm doing good. Very, very glad to be here on your show tonight.
Oh, I'm glad you were here, sir. So, everybody's here. We've got Chaotic, G.I. Joel, Multicade Matt, and of course, I'm here as always. I'm glad that I am part of the show tonight, and I am your host. So, obviously, it's been a kind of up and down week for everybody. iircade announced what was going on, then we went through the weekend, and then all the games started hitting that were free, and we were all rushing to download them and get our cabinets ready to go. So, what's your initial thoughts, everybody? I'll kind of go around the horn. Chaotic, what do you think about this whole thing?
It's really sad news, man, because, me and you, we both just got our cabinets.
Yeah.
Literally 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah, we didn't get a chance to really download a lot of the games that we wanted. We didn't really get a lot of chance to do that kind of stuff. But, obviously we're going to move forward.
Yeah.
It's going to be good. It's going to be all good. How about you, Joel? I'm sorry, Chaotic. Didn't mean
I was just going to say, overall, the time that everything has worked online and everything, it's been fantastic. I'm enjoying it. It's the most played cabinet in my room.
Yeah, in the short amount of time that we've had it, we've been playing a lot. I know you've been doing a lot of live streams and whatnot, so it's pretty awesome stuff. So,
yeah.
How about you, Joel? What do you think, man?
Yeah, it's been a up and down roller coaster of a week. It was sad announcements, and then we had Father's Day there, so we all kind of had to go out and have some fun and be dads and suck it up a little bit, even though we got news our toys were breaking. But a lot of us saw a little bit of the writing on the wall. We thought something was going on and some issues, but I don't think any of us thought it was going to be this quick, and it's kind of sad. It almost feels like a funeral in some ways. Somebody passed. We're all way quicker than we thought. We had heard that they were sick, but we didn't think that they were going to go that quick. So it's been kind of rough, and it's kind of funny because I kind of got the news as we were packing to head across state, and my wife's not a huge arcade enthusiast by any means, but she hears and follows along a little bit, and she knows the different guys and stuff, and so I think she kind of even felt it on the drive over. We were listening to a bunch of the different podcasts after the announcement and stuff, and she was just kind of shocked and surprised as I was. So what about you, Matt?
Yeah, I'm going to just go straight dork, right? And so it's the whole notion. Remember, like when Gandalf the Grey becomes Gandalf the White? I think right now we're in that transition, right? Sadly, we went from Gandalf to Grey, but then all of a sudden, like, we have Glen and we have like Mystery and Coda. We're like, with those two guys like running, they're given wheelhouse. I think it's about to be a good time. So I'm hopefully optimistic.
I'm sorry, Glenn. We're just a bunch of nerds. I'm sorry.
Hey, I'm the king of the nerds. Didn't you know that?
You absolutely are.
Wait. Hold on. I got the underwear right here. Here we go. Everyone guess that reference. 16 candles right there.
We're gonna
now, Glenn, do you have a filter going on, or is it just me? Or
yeah,
he's just good.
Okay,
trying to be. But I want to say real quick, we were talking before the show. I want to give a huge thanks and shout out to Switchfoot Games for releasing Heavy Metal Titans. That game wasn't really ready, and they just went nuts to get it ready to be released. And then after it got released, Nick was playing it, and he was watching the game play, and he made a couple of comments, and they went, again, they're not getting any money for this. They just went there, and they made all these bug fixes real quick. was a love letter to all the people who support iircade. And also now we have City Games. Also today took, I think, 9 games that they had in the store and said, you know what, we'll do the same thing. So that's kind of, I mean, it is a funeral of sorts. I mean, it's sad because, you know, the cabinet itself is a fantastic cabinet, the Legacy and the Gold. As far as the build quality, you know, I still think it's the best one that's been out there. It's unfortunate what kind of happened with, you know, going forward. But, you know, Mystery Encoder, I want to take my hat off to him as well, because I know he's been doing stuff, a lot of scenes. And you know, again, he's done a lot of things behind the scenes that he didn't release because he didn't want to disrupt the people making money on the machine, right? He's like, I'm doing this stuff behind the scenes. I'll be ready. But he didn't go, you know what? I'm just going to throw stuff out there and people get all the games anyway. So Mystery Encoder and his team are phenomenal for doing stuff that they do. And I am hoping to see some really good things from them. Now, people are messaging me, Glenn, how do you feel about Mystery Encoder? Look, I am fine with it. What I'm doing right here, again, I'm not making pretty much a dime on any of it. I'm doing pretty much a cost because I just want the community to, like you said, you two got Brian and Todd, so you just got your machine a couple weeks ago. I want you guys to be happy that you got this. I don't want you guys just bought this and it's a dead unit. So between Mystery Encoder and what he's doing behind the scenes and whatever he's going to be doing in the future, and myself. Now, the good thing about my control panel is that we'll be connecting to the iircade the way the current machine does right now.
Yep.
So if Mystery Encoder can do something with the Android box that's in there, he's able to do it. Because I've heard a lot of stories from iircade that they really locked it down. But if he can, my system will work just fine with it. And we have USB, which still plugs into their device over the USB. It will do for the Legacy and the Gold. So anything he can do for the current machine, my board will work. Now, if he can't get it working, or if people still want to go above and beyond that, I don't see us not hitting our goal easily for the 500 units that I need to make the board. And then we are going to release the GRS SBC. Now, the GRS SBC, just so people know, we worked on it for a real long time. The whole point of the SBC originally was for my Build-A-Cade, because my Build-A-Cade is STEM certified, but then the whole thing with the Raspberry Pi thing had happened. And what's the school going to do with my kit without a Raspberry Pi, right? So for it to be STEM certified, for kids to learn gaming and learn programming and learn hacking in a good way, like Mystery Encoder is doing, this is what that machine was really built for. You can kind of see how a machine works. You can get into the operating system and build it. So we were working on it for quite a while. And what's different about my SBC and like a Raspberry Pi is I'm a gamer. So I'm making sure this is designed for that purpose. I'm actually hoping that the GRS SBC will actually be the forefront. It's going to be superior performance to Raspberry Pi 4. I'm going to make sure that the people who do real testing, not me, people like ETA Prime and how's this guy say it? Learningcomputers.com. If you ever see that guy, he does those Raspberry Pi things. I'm going to make sure those guys get my SBC to test it and compare it to Raspberry Pi 4, because we're going to have it very inexpensive and it should outperform it. So for gamers building anything, it should be the way to go. And I'm trying to make the iircade as inexpensive as possible. Again, I'm doing it for $169.99 for 2 joysticks, 2 spinners, a limited trackball, a USB interface, gateway switchers, the wood enclosure, a power supply, a hub. I'm doing everything in there. I'm not making a dime on it. And when my SBC comes out, it'll also be some hardware in there to let you go from your standard Legacy or Gold, play it like right now, any way you want to do it. All these new games, you just got Heavy Metal Titans, the whole works, play everything you want, but just press one button. And the controllers, screen, and sound, speakers, those beautiful speakers, come over to my SBC, and you can now do things going forward from there. And I have heard some people saying, the whole point of the iircade was, we're supposed to be pirated stuff and all that stuff. And I get that. I definitely do. But with the system now being no longer viable in the future, technically, again, I don't know what Mystery Encoder can do. Maybe we can make another store and developers can do games that way. Again, I'd be totally fine with that. But if not, to say like this one thing is bringing down the industry, the Raspberry Pi, people have been modifying with PCs and MAME long before this stuff happened. My first machine, MAME .001, whatever the first release was. I was right there, even emulators before that. So people going to do it. And again, like with like a Donkey Kong or Donkey Kong Jr., I would buy it in a second, but you can't. There's no way to get it unless you go out and buy the real arcade machine. So just trying to give people options. Again, am I expecting to sell 10 million of them? No, but whatever we can get, as long as we keep people enjoying the machine, keeping the iircade community together, that's kind of what I'm doing this for. And Mystery Encoder as well. So I'm really pleased that he's working on this.
Yeah, actually, Mr. Encoder asked, will it have an LVDS out?
Well, yes. Well, it's going to have an out for the screen. I'm actually looking also possibly, do not, say Glenn said this.
Right.
I'm also looking at adding a third. Why not do a third switch? And people can now, almost like an At Games Legends Ultimate, have an extra port there so you can add something, a third device.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Right? But don't say Glenn said that, because I got to get this part working first properly.
Yeah.
And it depends on cost, again, because right now, my ultimate goal is to give you all these things at a price that's really, really, not going to break the bank. That's why. For a price of maybe 2 or 3 or 4 games, you get this SBC and go from there. That's what I'm trying to do.
So, Glenn, I don't know. Are you aware? Did you bump a button? You got like God voice filter on.
Do I?
Yeah.
Am I deep?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
really
chat's been just having a field day with it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. See,
There you go.
Whether it's my show or anyone else's show, I always screw something up somewhere along the lines. Yeah, I had a. Can I say my voice?
I'm trying to say my voice is not that deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a question if your balls just dropped.
we don't want to see that, but Biggie D asked, will we be able to use our
Todd.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Todd, they want you to turn your filter off too. Your voice is quite squeaky tonight, they said.
Oh, really? Oh, no.
What you do, man?
Oh boy.
So
Sorry.
Biggie D asked, can we use our SCB, or are we going to have to buy yours?
To be quite honest, the switching mechanism is probably going to be on the SBC. At least that's how the initial design is. I can look at, maybe not. But again, the whole point is to get the cost down as low as possible. But I won't say no. But again, even if you did, I'll try and make an option to go around it. But it's still early right now. Again, this all really happened a few
You're
days
back
before.
on
Was that?
your deep voice too.
Yeah,
Glenn.
It's not me.
It is
Not
now.
you this
I
time.
have a gremlin here. It's a gremlin.
There we go.
Is that better? Sorry about
Yeah.
that. So, my ultimate goal is really to make it as inexpensive as possible. And sometimes you got to put components on one board to drive cost down. But I'm not saying no. This whole thing kind of stemmed literally a couple days before it was announced, because that's when they came to me and said, "Listen, our last." They definitely were trying. They had a lot of people they were talking to try and make make this continue, and it just literally fell out the last minute. It just didn't work out. So I'm like, you know what? I have an idea, and I wasn't sure how they were going to take it. They may have said, "Jesus, Glenn, no, we can't do that." But they were like, you know what? What are we going to do at this point? Oh, go for it. And I said, I'm doing it for the community. Continue forward. I'm not doing it to hurt you guys. But like, well, we're done. So, okay, so here we are.
All right.
Man, Biggie's full of questions tonight. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
like we can ask questions too, right here. Let me get this.
Yeah, there you
So
go.
on your board, so on your new control
put you
deck,
full
so we'll
screen.
physically take this board out and then put it. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So with your new deck, we'll take this out and then we'll put it inside the new deck, and it'll have all the other features that switches between yours and the SBC.
Close. So you are going to take it. You have to take it out of that only because the gate switchers, as many people know, have already done the mod, especially Papa Brad, who's in the chat. There's just not enough space in there, so we need to take that out of that enclosure and mount that SBC. Now, if you look at the SBC, if you take it back up again, you'll see those little white stands. So all you got to do is unscrew those stands and put it somewhere inside the unit itself. So just take
There's
that wood
plenty of
out.
room in the back.
Correct. There's tons of room back there. And then our board will sit in front of that. And like right now, that board is probably sitting 4 inches back from where it is right now. So my gate switchers can clear the area. But that 40 pin, whatever connector that is down there, the joystick goes in, we'll plug still into that. And then we'll have on the legacy unit, which you have right there, We'll have another connector, which will enable you to have two, well, actually before USB ports, we're going to include a 4-port hub in there. But that'll all be on the Legacy. And of course, the Gold unit already has USB. So that'll just disconnect from the back of the Gold unit. I'm sorry, the Gold unit, and plug from the back of the Gold. It'll plug into us, and then we'll plug into the original spot for the USB, and we'll give you 4 ports instead of the 2 on that as well.
Okay. And then so also so you said that we'll go from the 4-way to the 8-gate. It'll be built into your box as well?
The 4 8-way gate switcher, or the
yes,
hub?
sir. No, the switcher, the gate switcher.
Yeah, the gate switches will be there. And my hope was when we were working on this that iircade was gonna, like when you load Burger Time, it would automatically switch it to the 4-port, and when you play another game, it would switch back. So obviously that's not going to happen now. But again, maybe mystery encoder and developers, if we can side load these games, like one of the games that I saw today was something tank. I forgot what it was called. But there's a turret on there, and to move the turret, it's weird. You fire with the A, then B and C turn. I hate that. I'd rather have the middle finger be my firing and turning. But my spinners would be perfect for that. You can turn your turret and shoot on there as well. So there's options. And again, with my SBC, if you can load those games on there, like my Akari Warrior Stick, we can do Frontline. I love Frontline. There's Heavy Barrel playing on the iircade right now through it. So there are things you'll be able to do, and additional things. My Star Wars yoke, the steering wheel will coming out. We had all these things planned that we had in development that I don't want to go to waste. And we spent the time doing it, and again, it could work on the iircade, but it could also work on other machines as well. So it's not like I'm dead in the water. But we were specifically designing things first to come out for the iircade.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to continue those along.
So I've seen some confusion a little bit too. Get some clarity from you as far as there's been a lot
Wrong
of people
person to give clarity. I'd like to know right now.
So as far as you got your deck, you got your SBC. Well, it's not buy one, then you got to buy the other.
No.
Getting the deck right now will improve your iircade experience as far as the current game selection goes.
Right. The big
You'll be
thing,
able to switch gates, so you can have 4 to 8-way. You'll have trackballs. You'll have spinners.
That's the big thing. Like the spinners and the trackball right now, as far as I know, and maybe Michael can correct me, only Space Harry was when he hit set up to use the trackball. And you can play really hard, use the spinners. One's for up, down, one's for left, right. But it shows you it does work. He was working, or he was planning on working and converting a lot of the other games to use a spinner and the trackball. I think even Space Invaders, we were going to have set up using the spinners to move his ship back and forth. But then he got sidetracked. Now we didn't know why he got sidetracked, so that's kind of what led that down.
Yeah.
But the gate switchers alone would enhance a lot of the games on there. Some games are just better with 4 and 8. Yep. And again, if you buy my my panel, you do get all those things. And if Mystery Encoder can get it to where you can get other games on there, that might be all you need. You might not need.
And you'll have your USBs for the 2 light gun games.
That is correct.
So if you have a Sindin, you'll be able to play the light gun games on
Operation
your
Wolf and Thunderbolt if you got them before,
So that's if they buy the deck right now and they bought nothing else. That's the improvements that they'd get. Now, your SBC and your switcher, do you have to have the deck in order for those to work on the iircade? The switcher, or could you use your stock deck?
You can always remember. There's always you can mod that machine right now. The key I'm trying to make is I'm trying to give it as the lowest cost and as simple install as possible. I want anyone just to be able to do this. You can very easily modify the machine. You can rip out all the controls and put in a zero delay encoder for the joysticks. You can get LV, screen thing. You could do speakers. You could do all those type of things. But you're going to spend money and time, and you got to wire it yourself. Yep. And I'm just trying to make a simple kit that is 2 things, standard across the board. But I am hoping that there will be further development on the iircade and use my trackball and the spinners and the dual joysticks and maybe play Battlezone or something like that. I'm kind of hoping that it will make it flourish a little bit more with devs or any devs that made certain games on there. If we could sideload, Mr. Encoder could do anything here, do updates to games on there that could make use of a trackball or the spinner. There's some games on there now that a spinner would be great on, but using a joystick, and I hate that. I hate using a joystick for a game that uses a paddle. Drives me nuts.
I was excited to hear you mention that you were going to be rolling out an SBC, and that is hopefully going to be a Raspberry Pi 4 killer. Knowing that you have your Build-A-Cade and that it's currently you use a Raspberry Pi 4 for that build, I automatically assumed this is going to work for your Build-A-Cade. So it obviously was going to interface and be similar to a Raspberry Pi. But knowing that you were launching it, that it was going to be designed specifically for gaming and for arcade builds,
Right? And
which is not what a Raspberry Pi was originally
It's not.
built and intended
It's not.
for.
So you're paying for some components that you don't need, and
Yep.
you don't get the right performance because we need graphical performance, right? We need
Yep.
good graphics on that, number one. But I also have people on my team with the Build-A-Cade that already are very good and fluent with RetroPie and building images, building installers, setting up all the controls. Uh, so that's one of the Arcade Workshop. He's really one of our top dogs we have on here. We actually hired an actual electrical engineer to design our SBC. So it's not like we're even using third party.
Nice.
We have someone in house who knows what he's doing. Hope he knows what he's doing, but I believe he knows what he's doing. So
His resume said he did.
exactly. So those are the pluses. And I've had a roadmap for years of what I wanted, and we're making our timetable fairly well. I got to admit, 2020, 2021 was kind of like a mess because it's hard getting parts. That did throw our timetable off. But my revised timetable. So we have the Build-A-Cade. We have the SPC coming out. We have other things coming down, which I can't discuss now. But if you guys know, or anyone knows my stuff, my products, we build the highest quality stuff. We give you the most features, most bang for the buck at the lowest price possible. And I'm going to be expanding out from there.
Yes, sir.
Nice.
Now I do have a lot of companies out there that I do respect, so I will not waddle in their territories, and there are ones that don't care about so much.
Actually, was it Sand Spirits? He wants to know, is it going to be like non-technical friendly?
That's the key. So yes, it is going to require some hands-on. Like obviously you have to open up the machine. You got to take the SBC out. That's probably going to be the hardest thing for some people is to get the SBC out because there's no more warranty
intimidating.
Anymore. It's limiting, and we'll make a video for it. But the thing is that if you do damage it, there is no going back for that. There aren't anymore.
Luckily, we know somebody who's going to sell an SBC.
Well, yes, but I don't. I want to do this, but I still want to keep the old machine there. I want people to load the Dragon's Lair or the Heavy Metal Titans or any of those games you purchased because people spent their money, good money, on those games. Even though you can still play them on another way, it was kind of molded and customized for the iircade. The screen, the sounds, everything was kind of like fine-tuned. So I want to keep that experience for people. So if someone was walking the house, you want to say, what's an arcade like? Well, here you go. Bang. Here's my menu. Here's my whoosh sound. I know Kong was talking the other day about the whoosh sound. Whoosh, whoosh. And, sometimes my volume is like really loud. And it goes whoosh. Like, oh. So I want to keep that there. But I do want people to have options. And again, I am all for Mystery Encoder. I hope he's able to do it because in talking with the iircade team, they're like, nah, they ain't going to be able to do it. We knocked it down. And I'm going to admit, if I was like, well, can you undo it? Can you put it back to where people could hack it? Because that would be kind of a good thing. If you guys are going under, why leave it in a state where it's like this? And it's a corporate answer. It's like they had contracts with Sega and Taito, and that was their thing. As much as they would like to say, you know what? Here's the golden keys. Have fun. We did our shop, and now it's up to you guys. They still have contractual obligations with large companies saying, no, you promised us this. And if you're breaching the contract, guess what? You have no money now. Wait till we're done with you. So, So from iircade standpoint, I get it. So I am hoping that Mr. Encoder can
definitely
find some backdoor. Because you know what? What gets me is people say it's lockdown. People break into the friggin' military. The Whopper computer. Matthew Broderick got in there and started World War III almost, right? So these big trillion-dollar machines, people still can hack. So I find it hard to believe that there's no way to get into it, but I can't do it for sure. But maybe he can.
Yeah. He's already. I watched one of that feed that he had with B earlier. That's was super exciting, promising stuff, Mr. Encoder. Especially, I really loved the idea of being able to keep kind of this open source platform for developers for future games, new games,
Right.
because that was what really brought me to the iArcade. There's lots of options to emulate and to run, retro old stuff, but to be able to play an arcade authentic type experience on a new machine
You've said it
just
best right
is
there.
going to be awesome.
That's
So.
fine. And the thing is, the arcade right now, still currently, is the most powerful out of the trio. More powerful than anything arcade wanted to put out. It's more powerful than the current gen at Games Legends Ultimate. They have their new board coming out.
Yeah.
But they have all this power you paid for, so it's untapped potential. I'm dying to see. I'm from the old school days. We had your Amiga or your Atari 5200. I'm sorry, your Atari 800, and you see these coders, even my TI 994A, doing stuff you never thought possible. It's like how I'm playing Dragon's Lair full motion video on my TI 994A. How? On a cartridge, no less.
Correct.
So I would love to see people just say, you know what, this is now the community machine, and let's see what this thing can do, and push it to its limits, and then beyond its limits. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, and the blessing is they can work hand in hand with your box, and so if the game that they hack or build, it needs a 4-way gate, it can use your device, or it needs a spinner or a trackball.
Exactly.
And so that's the blessing, is that you guys can just basically build each other up. So yeah, the future is insane.
Exactly. And I've talked to Team Encoder before. If they need one of my products to test, I'd be more than happy to send it out to them. I have no problem with the MAME dev team. I've reached out to them a million times, they hear back, but I'd be more happy to send them out to make sure that everything works. I want the end user experience really to be almost like plug and play. When you load MAME, it's not too difficult for us, but there's so many people out there that are the menus go on forever. It'd be much easier if you just plugged in my curry stick or my yoke or this, and it knows.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Glen's stick. Okay, this is how it should be mapped,
Right.
and go from there. That's
where you're at, Glenn, right? You're a hardware company, right?
We're dabbling now, like I said, with RetroPie and Arcade Workshop, doing more of the software side.
Yeah.
But we really are a hardware, and to be honest, we weren't really a all-in-one shop. Like my little iircade is my first little all-in-one device. Now maybe it'll get smaller, maybe it'll get bigger. I don't know, but either way, it'd be kind of cool to do that. But I've already set out what I wanted to do. I mean, I went into Micro Center, and to see my stuff sitting on the shelf at Micro Center I was like, oh my god, that's me. That's my stuff on a shelf in a store.
Yeah.
So rather than my face up on the wall saying most wanted, I don't have that yet.
Yeah.
But
Nope.
it's I just really want things to be easy for the end user. Like with the spinners versus joysticks, it should be intuitive. When you pick these controls up and start playing the games, that's what you want to do. You don't want to sit there for a half hour trying to troubleshoot it and get it working and fine tuning it. It's just be plug and go and enjoy the game. That's what you're doing it anyways, to play the game.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Now, is the front end for your SPC, is it going to be, do you know if it's emulate Batacero, like
It's being designed to work with Batacera. It's going to work with RetroPie. It'll be a Linux board.
Yes, sir.
So you could do even more stuff with it, but that's what we're going with. We definitely want to make sure that Batacera, and actually we already have Batacera work. I'm not worried about Batacera or RetroPie, but you never know what's coming down in the future. But as long as it's a Linux compatible 64-bit OS,
Yes, sir.
it should be good to go.
Yeah, because emulation, Emulate is kind of wonky because it needs a specific, board chipset for it to work.
Right. But to be honest, there's so many builds out there now. I mean, if you go over to some type of punk arcade dude, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
You could pretty much get anything you want now anyway. But we want to try and make it easy. Like right now with the iircade, we do get the Adventures of Robbie Roto. So you get that. I'm trying to work. I'm not a licensee guy. That's Michael and those guys. But I'm working behind the scenes to get more things for the iircade that'll be, more than just the Robbie Roto, which I'm still very thankful for. But we're trying to make it a licensing deal that's inexpensive because I don't want to charge for it. I wanted people to keep the prices and play more. But as you know, it's really not hard to add games to emulation stations. So, but I would like to keep it. Even if someone wrote Like I was talking to the guys at Heavy Metal Titans. I'd like to see Heavy Metal Titans on a build-a-cade. I'll make a little artwork and bang, and send that out. That'd be kind of cool.
Definitely.
Wear your shirt and tie.
Different show.
Actually, it was just taken off just recently, and I got the old T-shirt on right now. Got to get out of that one.
So Glenn, how long before you'll have a final product that you can show on your website? People like Big D was asking, that's what would drive them over the edge to purchasing the product, is if they could actually see what the product looks like.
Yep. So we're shooting for October, November for the actual deck to be shipped out to people. Some things we've gotten out sooner. We've beat it by a month. Other times we've not. It depends. This one, I think, the big thing is we need to really test to make sure that the switching mechanism works. Because the way it's going to happen is part of the mechanism will have to already be in the deck you guys get, like the buttons and stuff. So when you get it, you will have your button for your 4-8-way switcher, and there'll be a button there right now for your iircade and the SBC. So some stuff has to be in there, but we can ship that out. But then we have to make sure and test different things. When people connect stuff, make sure there's no static that can possibly damage anything. All the stuff's got to be tested really, really well. So I'm actually hoping by the fourth quarter, the SBC will be available as well. But at the actual deck, I'm shooting for October, end of October, to be quite honest, which is not that far off.
No.
It actually would have been done long ago, but I was constantly told, Glenn, hold on. So I didn't. We waited. We waited. And we're here today.
Yeah. So you've been saying you need 500 pre-orders to hit go.
Right. And my last checks, I'll tell everyone right now on your show, you'll hear it first. We're at about 350 right now. And that's just word of mouth and through a lot of great YouTubers, a lot of content creators, a lot of people just spreading the word. We are going to do a reach out this Friday to the community as well. And I'm not worried at all about hitting the 500. I think we'll probably hit by Monday, we'll probably be well over that, I'm hoping.
Yeah.
But the 500 is really just a couple things. The 500 is really just to buy enough supplies and to work with our assemblers. You have to have a certain quantity to really even get them engaged. That's number one. But we also wanted to make sure that we had enough people there to potentially want the SBC part, because we're going to work on that part. Figured 500 would be a good number to make sure that people would still be interested in that additional part. Because again, it's not coming out tomorrow. It's probably not going to come out until November, December timeframe for that SBC. But again, maybe Mystery Encoder can keep people happy until then. Maybe it'll be enough to say, you know what, we're good, and then my SBC will be used in build-a-cades. So in any way, shape, or form, it'll work out.
Yeah. 350. We're less than a week since the announcement too. And
like and people have been asking this.
Word of mouth.
It is. People are asking a lot. I want to make sure I let people know that usually when we do our pre-orders, we don't charge at the time of the pre-order. We usually don't. This time we do, only because the company is now, no more, and I don't want to build these machines and someone says, nah, and never pay for it. Now, it's kind of dumb when I'm saying this though, but if you do order it and change your mind, you can ask a refund and we'll get you a refund on it. But we're really using those funds really to say, listen, to our team, it's real. The community wants it. We can go forward. Most people won't release new hardware on a platform that is essentially dead. But my company, we've been working with Zhang the past year, to be honest. I got the hat, see? Got a hat. So we do want to keep our promise and release it, just like Heavy Metal Titans, which again, those guys are phenomenal for what they did here to release that. I want to see where it goes.
I don't think I'm getting my T-shirt.
I don't think so. I don't think you're getting it. You're gonna have to have it special printed.
Yeah.
Mystery Cutter was asking Glenn if he has a spare Gen 1 board.
I actually might have. If he emails me at glensretroshow.com, hit me up with an email and we'll chat. I may actually have something for him.
Okay, good.
Cool. That's awesome.
All right, chat. You got any questions that you want to ask him?
Yeah. Stuff.
Yeah.
That's the bigger question.
Sorry, guys. This Chat's going 100 miles an hour, so please put questions.
As people are putting in their questions, I was excited to see your boomstick, your new shotgun.
Yes.
Especially, I've been doing some big buck hunter builds, and I switched up to the design. This one's more modern design to fit with the Sindens, but I'm glad to see a shotgun type design to go back to the more.
It is, and it's
buck hunter
you know,
look.
I brought it out to the NAVDA convention down in Clifton, New Jersey, and people were just the weight is solid.
Yeah.
It's a good gun. And it's gonna be a price that's gonna be like, what? But that's kind of what I do.
That seems to be the business model you got going on.
It's not a smart business model.
No,
because we make no money, but it's not about the money.
Yeah.
As long as you're not losing money, just make sure you're.
Sometimes I have. we sometimes didn't realize how much something was going to cost, and we end up eating that. But we're getting better. We're learning.
Yeah. Does a shotgun have recoil?
It does. In fact, Andy Sinden got one, and he was like, "Wow." We made a couple of little changes in there, and he liked it. So
Nice.
yeah, and you could set my gun right now is set when I cock it back, it coils, go out of coils, and of course then when you shoot, it coils. So absolutely does.
Cool, awesome.
So is it a Sinden gun accessory or is it a whole new gun?
It is. It's basically Sinden's technology in our gun.
Yes, sir.
That's what it is. So right now, the initial partnership with them was to use all of his components and do our gun. I'm kind of hoping in the future that once our partnership blossoms, once we hit into our teenage years and we have our first love, that maybe we can work with them on improvements. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with it now, but I would love to see a Sinden. Like I do a lot of videos on the side of my house. Like it's like 40 feet by 40 feet.
Yeah, it would be dope.
And I would like to have that gun work in that aspect. I want to go to like these big trade shows, have the whole wall lit up, people just blasting away.
Yeah.
I would love to see that happen.
And it's all USB, right? Interface?
It is USB, correct. Yes.
Nice.
So the plan is for my gun to work with RetroPie, MAME, iircade. But the big deal is as a replacement for Arcade 1-Up and our Big Buck Hunter. You guys will have a solid, real feeling gun over the lightweight plastic one that they have.
The large horned animal hunter.
That's the one.
Yes. What do we got, guys? They got tons of questions, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that.
I'll show that real quick. So the shotgun is our initial offering. But if that does well, which I don't see a reason why it would not, yes, other guns, other form factors would be planned. The big thing to remember here is that we have wood on there. The what is that called? The stock is wood, and the cocking mechanism is good wood. But there is plastic involved. Again, keep costs down. And plastic molding is still insane prices. I mean, molds can cost you $60,000, and after you do that, any changes may still cost you thousands of dollars. So,
and you say wood, you mean it's made out of real carved wood? Or
it's made out of wood.
Okay, it's a plastic looking wood.
Okay,
is that?
It's actually wood, but it's like I don't want to say a particle board, but it's it's not like we actually looked at the original one. We actually did real wood. And it was just cost us so much, no one would have bought the gun. That's what it comes down to. Not that
I figured it was just a plastic.
It is not
colored wood.
It is not.
Or wood.
it actually is wood, and it's got a special coating on those two parts. But when you feel it, the thing is solid.
It got a heavy weight to it then. Yeah.
It does.
Cool.
Unfortunately, everybody's talking about wood in the chat. So.
Oh, is Mrs. Collins
it's very easy to get them sidetracked.
Yes, very easy indeed. Let's see. Toxin asked, "Will the shotguns be shipped from the U.S.? Sindens take forever to ship from the U.K."
So true.
So we have our own. When we started off on Amazon. We started off on Amazon because everyone knows Amazon, and that's how we kind of built up our reputation. Honestly, we're a 5-star shop on Amazon. We were the #1 gaming accessory 2 times in a row with the Jira spinner on there. Who does that on Amazon? Of course, everyone gets bad reviews because you always have people who just haters or whatever, and you get a couple. But if you look at our reviews, they're almost all positive. But the bad side about Amazon is they do charge a lot for a lot of things that they have. And if you return something, I've gotten boxes of dirt. I've got arcade one-ups, bad spinners, and trackballs sent back to me. I'm a small, tiny guy. I can't absorb that, but we have no choice because Amazon does not care.
Yeah.
So we now have our own warehouse in New Jersey that we ship out of, and we have one in China. So again, the only bad thing about it is, like, people ask me, "Can you get the shipping costs down?" I can't. I don't yet have a GRI shipping company. Maybe one day I will, and I can do that. But right now, shipping is completely out of my control, or duties if it arrives. But unfortunately, that's something I really have no control over. We try and ship the most inexpensive but reliable way as we can. But unfortunately, shipping is just one thing that I have no control over.
Sure.
That's a tough one to answer because,
Yeah.
again, it's not even up to Michael or John or anyone over at
Right.
iircade. It's not that I would not want to or get a group of us together to do so.
Yeah.
The problem is it's really now with the trust holders or whatever that is, and I have no idea who they are. I'm not allowed to speak to those guys. I'm sure we're not allowed to talk to them anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
We really have to wait and see what happens once the things are handed over. I'd like to get hand of the servers if I could.
Yeah.
But again, I don't have $50,000-$60,000 to do it. It'd have to really be hey, I'll keep it going
Yeah.
type of thing. I'm open to it though, but I really have no idea what's going to happen once those servers do get shut down and they take it. I mean, it's almost, to be quite honest, I don't know why they wouldn't try to keep it going in some way, form.
Yeah.
But that's, again, I'm not a businessman. I'm a gamer who makes stuff.
Yeah.
So
I'm not sure they're businessmen either. I don't know how that works either. They, some of them just might be, they just do it, push paperwork. So
Exactly.
So do you think another company would come along and one of the other companies that's in the community possibly do that? I mean, I'm just
all
throwing that out.
I can say is, and I can't say much. All I can say is, they hit every avenue they could beforehand.
Yep.
And it came close, and it didn't work. It was a couple of them. It came close. It just didn't work out. So again, as John would say, anything is possible. I don't think I owe any $5 for that, but anything is possible. But at this point in the game, that's really, I think, a pipe dream at this point. It's too far gone, I think, at this point.
This was also in the chat. Do you ever foresee making a wheel for the iircade? Because you have Beach Buggy is fantastic, right? Like there's some graphically intense driving games, but there's no wheel.
Well, I have the two spinners on there. I was kind of hoping that they would get that converted to them. But if you saw the entire live stream, I did post two pictures. One of my Star Wars yoke and one of the steering wheel with shifter and pedals that we did design, because the front of my panel has mounting points. So we actually designed, and actually I was going to show you the actual one, but it's not finished, so I decided to just show you the rendering. We actually have the controller steering wheel all done with the gear shifter. That would have been one of the first add-ons that came out after the panel. Would have been that for driving games, because there's quite a few driving games on the machine. And Michael was all set. He's like, I can code this. I can do the shift. I can do that. Yeah. But it just never got, unfortunately, to that point.
Yeah, I think that's where it was such a polarizing community for the iircade, because the people, I don't think anybody started off as avid haters of the iircade. I think those that grew to become avid haters of the iircade were, and I think all of us are there at some point. We all saw potential, and we all had our own vision of what the iircade could be, and we saw it had so much potential. Some of those haters, didn't see it getting that potential moving fast enough, and that's where a lot of their hatred came from. And I think a lot of us are in that boat now of, man, it's just too bad, because it had so much potential. It had such great hardware, it was a great concept. So
the other thing too is that iircade, I think, was very good at engaging the community. It's one thing I've been trying to do with all the companies. I just think they had a better rapport. I think At Games is next in that. They've always stumbled in a couple of spots, but At Games really does try and engage the community. They try New Wave Toys, very good engaged with the community. I think that helped. I really do think that those type of things helped. Again, it's unfortunate how it went out. I think some communication could have happened a little bit better, especially towards the end there. But I think overall, I think that they had the weekly show and they were straightforward and honest. They talked well with everyone else. Um, but again, when all said and done, though, it's a business to all these companies. No matter what we feel, the nostalgia we have for it, to them, it is a business. And unfortunately, they're not going to lose their houses. They're not going to, sell their cars to continue this at this point.
Right.
And they did what they did, and that's it.
Yeah. I think the core kind of group of people that we have here and stuff, that was what the iarcade community was, where Arcade 1-Up, that's the community really isn't their prime number one customer who they're selling to every day and making their top dollars off of.
Right.
We are a portion of it, and they give an ear to us and kind of, okay, sure, if that's what you want, but we're not their prime consumer, I don't think, when it comes down.
No,
to
the only thing with us is we're definitely not. But a lot of times, especially now in today's age, oh, that's an interesting thing. Let me look up on YouTube, bloop, and then they're going to see these type of videos. So in that respect, we are, and they should listen. But we're definitely not like Arcade 1-Up, same thing. We are definitely not the core demographics. The core demographics, honestly, was just the walk through a store. Oh, that's kind of cool. Asteroids. I love those games. And you brought it home.
That'll
I
look
think
good
the
in the
mistake
basement.
and I think that the mistake Arcade 1 is making now is now they're trying to cater to this high end $800-900 units, and we're like, it's not worth $800 or $900, and then the people would have walked in and bought the $300 machines are like, I'm not spending $800 for that. So that's the dilemma they're running into. At games, I think right now is now the best machine on the market, and again, people would debate back and forth arcade or at games. At games just is a multi-cade, and it's a very well done multi-cade. You have a nice screen, you have decent speakers, you have decent controls. They did everything decently. Plus, it had a way to add different controllers. You had a way to bring Steam into there, bring up PCs. So as far as that goes, at games, number one, did a good job, and it's a company that's been around forever. I mean, at games has been around a long time. They had their old machines, which were, I won't say garbage because I still have them and I play with them, but they weren't the best quality back in the day. And that was their biggest thing. They went from like Hyundai. I have a Hyundai Sonata. I love it. But when Hyundai first came out, it was kind of a crap car. It was inexpensive. It was a crap car. It took a long time for people to say, you know what? Hyundai and Genesis, you can spend $60,000, $70,000 on one of those things nowadays. And at games was very strategic. Were able to turn themselves in from that laughingstock company that had Genesis consoles with really bad sound into the Legends Pinball, the Legends Ultimate, the Legends Pocket, all these devices now that they built up. And that's the one advantage I think they had over iArcade was, they have games that were built in, fine. They had games store you could buy. They had their own store, but you could bring your own games and just play them. And that was the one, I think, thing that really hurt iArcade was that they had the best, I think, screen. They had the best cabinet. Controllers were decent. They had a store. They had an ecosystem they're working on. Like they're going to have cell phones. That would have been great. It was like a switch, take it on the go. But the problem was there was no way to add your own games if you wanted to do that. And to a lot of us in the community, that was I would say not a breaking point, but definitely hurt them a little bit because as powerful as the hardware was in the machine, even when they showed it at E3 back in the day, CES back in the day, they had some pretty powerful games playing on it, but we never got them.
Correct.
For me, it seemed they had a lot of ADD too. They struggled with their follow through. They started things, but they had a hard time completing it. Before they were on to the next thing, and that was what kind of really let me down a little bit was to hear Jung talk about phase 2 was rolling out onto the phone. I can understand from a business standpoint where that makes sense, but we were still waiting for some updates to the UI, to the online experience, and things. All those things are quality of life experience improvements that would improve everything else down the line, and it seemed like those should have been a heavy focus up front.
Well, there's some things I definitely can't talk about that I know, but I will say that they had. It's one of those things where you took a shot. There was something that would have been a really big payoff if something had worked. There was like a huge payoff, and they took a risk. And if it had worked, it'd be very different today. I mean, it'd been really different today. Unfortunately, they took the shot, and it's like football, and you're at 20 versus 21, and you hit a field goal just missed.
Yeah.
And no one, if you guys watch Doctor Strange or Spider-Man or the Flash movies, there's the multiverse somewhere. iircade is still cramming strong today.
Yeah,
exactly.
For sure. Well, guys, what do you got as far as?
BCB had asked about multicades. I guess this was just a question he wanted to throw out there, and just how they're making money. I know that's not really on topic, but I figured I would feature it real quick.
Well, the thing with At Games is they sell more than just their Ultimate or the pinball. They sell smaller machines as well. They sell handhelds. They got their minis. They get. There's a whole bunch of things. And again, they've been around a very long time. And PK, the CEO of At Games, knows what he's doing. He knows how to run a company. He knows how to keep it streamlined.
Yeah.
And he's not dumb. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Staying under the radar and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's trying to change that. He is trying to get At Games. I mean, especially with these new 4K boards and those other things. I think in the next year, I think that At Games is really going to become like the Commando Arnold Schwarzenegger version of this community. People can't talk smack against At Games like they used to back in the day. They've really done their due diligence, but it takes time. They do announce things long ahead of when it's available to be released. But I think that they're there, and I think that RK1-Up's doing the opposite. I think RK1-Up's been shooting themselves in the foot this whole year. Pretty much since January, they've been shooting themselves in the foot. And again, they'll sell things, but I definitely think a lot of their support's dried up. I know me, I'll never touch one of their machines again in my life, but that's for other reasons. Correct. But I think a lot of people are seeing through that. They're overpriced for what they get. And their quality still has never gotten there. They keep saying they're doing it. But improving it so it doesn't break as much is really not an improvement. It shouldn't break at all.
I agree.
So, Glenn, I think everybody's wondering, how's Glen doing? Have you talked to him lately?
I actually have. He's been on vacation.
Has he?
It's
really?
Yeah.
He's taking some time off.
Yeah, he's down in I think North Carolina. I think right now.
I think he needed some time off. He sounded a little disgruntled the last time I saw him.
Yeah, he's got a temper.
Yeah, he does.
He's got a temper. I still got marks of me from when he smacked me around from my NES machines. He doesn't like arcade machines with NES ROMs. It really pisses him off.
Huh. Yeah, we'll have to try to get him on the show sometime when he's back from vacation and feeling up to it.
Yep.
I think the community needs Glen every once in a while.
You know what? I got a bone to pick with Heavy Metal Titans, man. Too difficult. They had to make the game easier to beat. They had to make that game easier to come and beat me and my dragon. What's up with that?
Yeah.
In the old days, my son, I'll never forget. I think it was one of the Super Mario games. Maybe it was it was on the Wii. And when you were a kid, you played the game. You had to get better and better, or you didn't beat the game. You had to try. Now in this NES Mario game, you do it 3 times. Okay, you got a free pass. I'm like, what? You turn gold. You just go through. I'm like, what? I said, turn that off. Any game that lets you cheat that way, I don't want you playing. That's like one of those trophies for showing up.
That's not a game. Everybody gets a trophy?
No. Now, let me ask you guys a question. You probably said it a little bit before, but I know, Todd, you said you just got yours, or Brian, you said you just got yours. Before you heard the news, how did you like the machine? And after the news, did it really change your opinion of it as far as the machine itself, or what? You guys tell me. What do you guys think?
Before the news, I absolutely loved it. I played it every day. And even after the news, I'm still playing it every day. But now I'm actually trying to go through and pick through my games and play games I haven't played yet to see even more that I enjoy. So it really hasn't affected me at all. Just I guess it helped me buy more games so I can actually enjoy the ones that I haven't had a chance to play yet.
What's your favorite right now?
Right now is Raising Hell.
Nice. I go back to Donut Dodo all the time. That
Oh,
Donut
yeah,
Dodo and the Wizard
me too.
of Walls.
Yeah. I got those too.
Yeah.
Galaxy Champion TV is another good one.
Twin 6-shooter, yeah.
That one's fun.
Galacticon's awesome. Yeah.
And that's the other thing. You know, people like, I spent $300 on this and you know, blah blah blah. Now, if you bought an arcade one for $800, like T2 at $8.99 at the time, that was one game, and that's all you got. So even if you got the free games that came along with it, Dragon's Lair, you know, all those games you got, just getting the machine, the beach buggy racing, it was still for the bar top. For everything else, it was a really good deal. Then you get Donut Dodo, a couple of games here on sale. You get 10, 15, 20 games on there.
Yeah.
Again, that's more than you would have had in an arcade one-up, and you still have fun with it. So
yeah.
I know people are getting upset because they bought like Retromania recently, but $2.99 was a good deal on that.
Yeah, it was a solid deal, and I was very happy with the purchase. You know, I'd been wanting one for a while, and it finally being at that price. But after the news, you know, it really didn't slow me down. I enjoyed the machine, I enjoyed the build, and I'm looking forward to the mods that we can do in the future on it for sure. You know, your deck and other things that will come out. You know,
that's what excites me. I mean, not to sound, you know, weird or anything, but it excites me when I see people pushing hardware, adding things. They're like, what? Like I'm trying to add my legacy cabinet you see over there in the background. I always have a hard time with the Wi-Fi. Maybe it's my house. I don't know. But I'm trying to find a way to actually add a hardwired Ethernet to that unit. Just things like that. Cool little thing. Maybe I see someone maybe piggyback an EEPROM on there, and you can have dual save states or some weird stuff to it. That's the stuff that I love. Like even right now, I saw someone like the Vectrex or the Target 5200. People are constantly making new enhancements, the ColecoVision, all these new things coming out for them. This is just the beginning for iircade. To be quite honest.
Yeah, I think we're about to see a lot of cool, interesting new stuff with the stuff you're doing. Hopefully with some of the stuff Mystery Encoder's doing, as long as his ADHD keeps that under control and doesn't get too off focus and onto the next project. But hopefully, you know, there's going to be a lot of cool stuff, I think, coming.
Yep, that's what I've been kind of working on. I've been talking to them, and you know, as long as again, it's locked down right now, so as long as I can get a driver that's actually in the machine, my understanding is the firmware between the Gold and the Legacy more or less is the same.
Yeah.
So, you know, now they got USB ports working on the Legacy, I just prefer a hardwired, like maybe a jam for the arcade one, because I never play anyway, but it's over there. You know, a USB dongle, and you're able to connect it, you know, via Ethernet. You can't play a lot of these games like, you know, over the net with a Wi-Fi. At least not in my household. I have like 600 cameras and alarm systems and everything else in this house on Wi-Fi. So this is what I want to see.
Yeah.
Todd, you didn't say what was your game you were playing. What's your favorite game?
Actually, what is it? Ninja.
Baseball Ninja?
Yeah. I am digging that game. I don't. Chaotic, did you ever pull the trigger on that? I know you were thinking about it, but I beat
it on my main machine.
Okay, well, I'm enjoying it. And like Chaotic's doing, I'm going through all the games that I was able to pick up and finding a lot of jewels in there. And I've always wanted a candy cab, and a lot of these games remind me of that, and I'm really enjoying it, you know. So,
yeah.
Well, guys, we've hit the hour, and I know a lot of people have asked a lot of questions. I'm sorry we didn't answer every one of them. If you'd put it in the chat, I'm sorry we missed it. But, you know, a lot going on, a lot of chats going through. So we want to thank Glenn for taking the time out of his extremely busy schedule just to spend time with us and talk to us. So, Glenn, you're always welcome on the show if you ever want to come and talk with us.
I appreciate it.
You're more than happy to, and we'd love to have you on. Any final thoughts from anybody before we wrap this beautiful show up?
Todd, congratulations on 100 subscribers.
Thank you. Yeah, I do appreciate that. appreciate everybody watching. Thank you again for letting me host. I love being the host here and doing my best to catch everybody and do what I can do. So thank you.
Hit the like button, subscribe to Todd for more. We're here every Tuesday night.
You should subscribe too.
There you go. And don't forget all of my co-hosts, Chaotic, G.I. Joel. We need to get some Chaotic, get you tons and tons of subs. And Multicade Matt, we need to get you to the highest level possible.
Yeah, if you guys like this show, come back again next week. We're here every week, Tuesdays.
Yeah. Absolutely. We're here every Tuesday.
9-8 Central.
Glen will pay you Tuesday for watching today.
And guys, go check out Moat. I think his show just started. I was going to try to redirect you guys, but go check out Moat. I think he's doing a good show tonight as well. So thank you.
We're still trying to figure that stuff out.
Yeah.
Baby
we're still
steps.
The noobs. We're still the noobs. Yeah.
We're trying to make it a better show for you guys every week. So
there you go.
We're working.
Thank you so much. Everybody have a fantastic evening. See you.
Glenn, you want to send us out?
No matter what you do, no matter how you play your games, no matter what YouTube channel you watch, remember to tell your family and friends that you love them. Tomorrow's never promised. And on your iircade, game on.
Game on.
Game on.
Thank you, sir.
Guys, next week.